What's going on, everyone? I wasn't gonna make another video until January, but I had a little spare time to kind of get everything figured out for what we're gonna do in January and February. So I decided to post a little update video on what we're gonna be doing and kind of showing what we're gonna be adding. So as you can tell, I've got it built. It's in a jar file. And when we load up, you can see I have the project panels set up. And we can scroll through here, click on whatever. And everything is selectable. So we got it showing up here in the inspector as well. So we can actually just click back and forth. When it selects, it knows which one it's selected. We have the file menu bar up here as well. And I also added like the ability to just create new objects. So just to kind of show you it working, I'll just put another. I'll add a component. And also I changed how we add the components because since now we're using components that are not only in the game folder but also in the engine folder, I removed the where we just put the name. Now we have to put the folder name. So it would be engine dot sprite renderer. So I have not added drag and drop or anything like that. That's advanced stuff. We're going to do that later. So there is going to be some stuff we're going to kind of skip over because, well, we don't really need it just yet. We need to just get the assets and stuff loading. Have the ability to change the import settings, loading and saving like project files, just so that we can get into runtime stuff. So we're going to kind of skip over the things that really don't matter at the moment, like drag and dropping. What is it? Shaders, as you can see, it doesn't have any import settings. Sprites has some import settings. We don't have rect or vector 4 fields yet, stuff like that. We'll do that later on. So go back to another. And I did add this, so I can click on that. Since I know the name of it right down there, test sprite, I can just add test sprite. And added the sprite on there. And I also added the ability to add it to the renderer, so I can do that as well. As you can tell, I'm sure you've noticed this before too. Whenever I typed up the scaling stuff, I added something wrong, so the scale's a little off. So this is 16 by 16 right here. And this is saying that it's 32 by 32. But it's obviously not. It's like doubling in scale. So It's actually 64 by 64. So we will get to fixing that as well. The first video that we're going to do in January is going to be fixing some of these bugs and optimizing the engine to make it run faster. I want to get rid of the booleans that we're using inside of our input class, and I want to replace those with bytes just so that there's not so much memory being consumed just off of little stuff. Uh, Booleans are just massive compared to bytes. I think it's like 4 or 8 bytes or something for a Boolean, but or 4 to 8 bits for a Boolean, and 1 byte is, of course, 1 byte, and there's like, I think, 8 bytes in each bit or something. So it's a lot more data just to check if something is true or false or not. So we're gonna switch the booleans to bytes, and that'll make it not consume as much. So let's see, just to show a little bit more, scale that to 2. Scale the Y to 2 as well. Kind of move this over. I'll say 100. And 100. My computer's kind of running a little slow right now. Hold on just a second. Oh, I guess not, he ran off. All right. So another thing I did was I added rotation, which is another thing we're going to get to. So if I take this, you can see that the anchor point, how we did the mesh, is right down here in the bottom left. So if I rotate that 90 degrees, you're going to see that it rotated on this pivot over here. So it was up here, rotated down there. Well, I also added the ability to change the anchor points. So, for instance, 0.5 is right in the middle. 1 is all the way to the right. So if I change that to 0.5, 0.5, which would be right in the middle, it's currently sitting right in the middle. And you can see as it shifted that it was changing wherever the anchor point is compared to the game object's position. So if I rotate this one 90 degrees, you can see that it rotates around the center pivot. So that's some good stuff. And we could do this as many times as we want, and it's automatically added to the renderer. You know, I can add different things. I can add new sprites, which change to a new sprite over here. And change names. We can do all kinds of cool stuff. And this is what we're going to be doing in January. So there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. So I just wanted to kind of show you what we're going to be doing, give you something to look forward to. And after we get all this stuff, we're going to be doing like scene importing, scene saving, new projects, all that fun stuff. Oh, and we are no longer, like, none of this stuff is manually imported. It's all automatically imported now. So we're also going to be doing that. So it's going to automatically import everything we need to do, or everything we need from the jar file. So there is no extra stuff. So there is no extra folder laying around. It's all inside of this jar file. And if we run it from the editor, it imports everything from our folders. So as you can tell, I changed the resource folder. I made it into a resource folder. So whenever we run it from here, it also finds them inside of here because they're different paths. So we're going to be removing that stuff. Removing the file import stuff because, well, they're not files anymore. So we're using input streams. So I hope you guys are having a good month, and I hope you have a good Christmas and New Year's. And I will see you in about 2 weeks. All right, bye now.